Let's talk about what would happen if you stopped eating fast food for 1 week. Now, I want to go beyond just carbohydrates and sugar. I've done so many videos on that. If you stop eating carbs and sugar, we know all the benefits that are going to occur. I'll put some links down below if you haven't seen that video because, you're going to help prevent a fatty liver. You're going to lose a lot of weight. You're going to have cognitive changes, all sorts of wonderful things just for the fact that you cut down your carbs and your sugars. But what else is in fast food that if you eliminated would benefit you? Well, number one, when you eat processed foods, refined foods, you are eating foods very low in nutrients. Anytime you eat empty calories or foods that are void in nutrition, you end up depleting your reserves of vitamins and minerals, specifically B1, calcium, zinc, other B vitamins, and that creates a whole series of issues right there. Also, when you consume empty calories or refined foods, you don't get any phytonutrients. And so you have a situation where you have no antioxidants and a lot of oxidation, and you have a lot of damage in the body just from oxidation alone from free radical damage. Because these phytonutrients protect, so many things: your heart, the inside layer of your arteries, the kidneys, the eyes, the brain, the nerves. So without those phytonutrients or antioxidants, you tend to get things like peripheral neuropathy, where you get tingling and burning in your toes. You start to have vision problems, kidney problems, heart issues, and the list goes on and on. But there's something else I want to talk about. There are a lot of food additives in fast food: preservatives, colorings, things that enhance the texture of the food, the thickness of certain sauces and things. You have sweeteners, you have artificial sweeteners. But the one that I want to focus on now is things that enhance the flavors, okay? And primarily I'm talking about MSG, monosodium glutamate, also known as modified food starch, which is in so many foods. So why are they putting a flavor enhancer in food in the first place? What are they trying to cover up? If you didn't have MSG in this fast food, what would it really taste like? You probably would be shocked. You probably wouldn't eat it. And as far as the topic of MSG, if you do research on it, you're going to find very wide viewpoints. Some people say it's good, some people say it's bad, and so you have this conflicting viewpoint. You don't know who to believe because you'll see research on both sides. My whole thought on that is that unless you really have firsthand knowledge and you experiment with it yourself or on close friends that you know and you can see the results, you don't really know for sure. However, that being said, just from being in practice for 30 years, I have found that whatever the general consensus is of the mainstream thought, I tend to look in the opposite direction, and I don't trust that viewpoint because there's so much vested interest involved, and so I tend to go in the other direction. But what I will tell you about MSG from personal observation, I don't get the reactions, the allergies, the sensitivities, but what I get is incredible pleasure. It tastes good initially, but then about an hour and a half later, I am starving. So I know for a fact through personal firsthand observation that it increases hunger and it will cause me to keep eating, especially when you go to a Thai restaurant or a Chinese restaurant or just eat like Doritos, for example, which in college I lived on Doritos and a lot of other junk foods. So I have a lot of experience in this area. And I also know it retains fluid because when I consume that food, I'm so thirsty, and then I end up finding that I can't even get my ring off or my ankles get puffy. Now, currently I don't do any MSG. I'm talking about in my early 20s when I had a lot of experience in doing junk foods. And so here's my viewpoint. If you were to cut out fast food for 1 week, you're going to notice your hunger goes away. You'll be able to go from one meal to the next much easier, especially if you're doing keto and intermittent fasting. You're going to notice your cravings are going to drop, which then makes it very easy to stick to a plan. Also, your fluid retention will greatly improve. You'll get rid of a lot of fluid. You'll probably pee a lot more for about 2 weeks. You're going to find your mind is clear. Your cognitive function is much better. You're going to feel like your body is overall cleaner. You're not going to feel so groggy. You're not going to get the brain fog. You're going to have definitely more energy. And then you'll start losing fat, actual fat. But that doesn't happen right away. That's a little bit delayed, 1 or 2 weeks. And so if you eat a lot of fast food, and by the way, back then, no one could have convinced me not to do fast foods. I was highly addicted. I had to hit bottom before I changed. But maybe you are different and a bit wiser. So try to give up fast food just for 1 week to prove it to yourself so you can have firsthand knowledge that it will very much benefit you in many different levels. Hey, before you go real quick, I have a course entitled How to Bulletproof Your Immune System. It's a free course. I want you to take it. And here's why. Here's you. Here is your environment. Everyone is focused on this over here, avoiding your environment. But what about here? What about strengthening your immune system? That's what's missing. This course will show you how to bulletproof yourself, and so you can tolerate and resist your environment much better by strengthening your own immune system. I put a link down in the description right down below. Check it out and get signed up today.